Merry Christmas. So it's Christmas Eve here in Berlin, Germany. I've been here a couple days and I've had a great time so far. I'm currently standing in front of the Brandenburg Gate. So this was built in the 19th century and it has become a real icon of both Berlin and Germany itself. And Berlin's a really interesting city to visit because it's really cold and windy, so hopefully you can hear me. It's been either witness to or at the heart of some of the worst events to take place in the 20th century. And I think they've done a really good job at remembering those darker moments of history, and that never again shall we allow this to happen. So Germany, blamed for starting World War One, most definitely started World War Two, and Berlin itself was actually a flashpoint for what could have been World War Three, with the whole Berlin Wall in East Germany and West Germany, and the Soviet Union and communism and all that. So Berlin has gone through a lot. And as I come through the Brandenburg Gates, I can see another building over here. And this is the Reichstag. This is Germany's parliament building. And the dome was rebuilt about 30 years ago or so, after German reunification. So what happened was, back in the 1930s, you had a young politician who was in power, but he wanted more power. And so how does he get that power? Well, he went and had his thugs and set it on fire. And so in the 1930s, you've probably heard of him. His name was Adolf Hitler. Sent his Nazi goons to the building. At least we think that they did. We can't prove it definitely, but they did it. And they said it. And that gave Hitler an excuse to declare a state of emergency. And he got all this power because of the state of emergency. So people think about Hitler and all the horrible things that he did, but they don't realize that Hitler actually gained power legally. And he did it by, burning this building down. This building would be significantly damaged from that fire back in the 1930s. It was never really fixed while Hitler was in power. It was kind of left there, like the dome was all collapsed and everything. And during the Battle of Berlin, there's a very famous picture of Soviet soldiers standing on the roof of the building, waving flag. Be out that way, I believe. And so the simple act of setting this building on fire started a long chain of events that would lead to the complete destruction of the European continent. It would lead to the murder and deaths of millions of people, including 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. And it all happened here. And it's such a painful lesson that we need to look and we need to remember, because there's literally nothing stopping it from happening again. So we, as citizens, we have to be so vigilant about what's going on in the world around us to ensure that stuff like that never happens again. And so Reichstag, there's a really cool museum that I went to. It was called the Topography of Terror, and it was built on the site of the former Gestapo headquarters. Gestapo was the secret police. They were the ones that orchestrated the Holocaust that killed 6 million people simply because they were different. And at the very end of the audio tour, because you listen to the audio tour as you go through the museum, and it explains everything, and as you get to the very end, it leads you to a window. And at the window you look out and it says, you'll see the building is surrounded, the museum there is surrounded by gravel. And we put that gravel there so that no green grass will ever grow on the site of this horrible, horrible place. And it's like, wow. Wow. Some countries, they don't really want to talk about some of the bad things that their ancestors may have done. However, the Germans, it seems as though they don't not only have taken responsibility, but they want you to learn so that you can go home and that you can make sure that this never happens again. And so Berlin, you had Nazism, and then at the end of World War II, the city was divided up into different parts. So you had the west side, which was like the American side, and then you had the east side, which was the Soviet side. And at a certain point, they built a wall through the city. The wall would have been near here, and you couldn't cross. And if you attempted to cross from the east side to the west side, you probably wouldn't survive. And it's going from the different parts of the city and seeing this painful legacy of all of these years worth of just horrible things that have happened, and how the Germans have responded to them and overcome them. It's a truly interesting thing to see. And I hope that you guys make it to Berlin at some point. And if you ever do come to Berlin, take the time to read up on some World War II history before you're here. Some of it is, big and spectacular, like the Reichstag that's over here. And then some of it is, you're walking down the street and there might be a plaque where, oh, this is where Hitler died. It's literally a grass lot where people park on top of it. It's like, oh, this is, whatever, or oh, this is whatever. It's a truly fascinating place, but you do need to know a little bit about what you're getting into. But it's a really I like Berlin, and it's way cheaper than I expected. Like, really? Way cheaper than the United States. I didn't expect that. But it's a great place, and I really hope that you get to come here, and that I hope that you get to learn some history from it. So with that said, peace out.